Nigeria was among the vocal champions of the African Continental Free Trade Area, but the country did take a step back in the implementation in order to fix what's structurally broken in its economy. President Cyril Ramaphosa will tomorrow officiate the first shipment from South Africa to the rest of Africa under this new agreement. Ntokozo Khumalo caught up with the Nigeria Private Sector Alliance on what more local trade could mean between Nigeria and South Africa.
Ministers from across the continent as well as business delegates gathered in Durban for the African Continental Free Trade Area Agreement meeting, and that's the meeting of ministers around the implementation of the agreement. And for some detail around that, I am now joined by Legborsi Nwiabu, who is the Executive Director for the Nigeria Private Sector Council. Thank you so much for talking to us. A lot of conversations around increased cooperation, improved trade on the continent. Nigeria, as an economic powerhouse on the continent, talk us through just how important this agreement is for not just the country but the region as well.
Yeah, thank you. If we can recall, Nigeria has been at the center of driving the African Continental Free Trade, first by chairing the negotiation rounds, which was led by the late Ambassador Chiedo Sakwe. So we can proudly say that Nigeria drove this process. And then by way of history, we can remember the Abuja Treaty, which is the foundation upon which the AFCFTA is being funded.
Sticking to that point, while Nigeria might have been sort of the champion of the agreements, it did take some time to actually get on board with the implementation, fixing some of those structural issues in the Nigerian economy. Do you think enough work has been done in that context for Nigeria to be fully on board in implementing this program?
Yeah, we are on board. Like you rightly have also said, we are not a small economy. We are big, and so we've put in some infrastructures in terms of trade facilitation, in terms of customs rules, in terms of policy changes and reforms. All that are going on. But you can also remember that yes, AFCFTA being a game changer will take some time to get everything together. But using or leveraging on the guided trade initiative, we believe that we'll be learning as we move on in trading. So Nigeria is fully on board.
This year we'll see increased geopolitical fragmentation, friendshoring, where governments, sort of direct businesses on where they should do business. How much of a factor do you think that will be, especially in this 2024 year, with so many elections as well taking place across the globe? How do those geopolitical issues play into Nigeria working with its partners to fast-track the benefits out of AfTA?
Yeah, first and foremost, we must also understand the trade peace and development nexus to understand that even when we aspire to trade, we want to do businesses, geopolitical stability is also very critical. And so we cannot say we want to trade without carrying out best practices in terms of democratic process and electioneering. So it is ideal that Africa and Nigeria, as it were, though we are done with our elections, but we know and we accept that the way and manner we carry out political activities also have direct bearing on economic activities. For a clear example, you can see Mali, Niger running into crisis. As we speak right now, they are pulling out of ECOWAS. That is a geopolitical crisis. And so it is something we need to pay attention to. Even the crisis that is also happening in Israel all have impact on the way we do business, even in Africa.
And just circling back to that whole infrastructure, Nigeria investing in infrastructure, as the business sector, the country is coming from a relatively low industrial base. As countries move towards localization, do you see that having any bearing on improved trade across the continent as countries focus on localization?
Well, using the word you are using, maybe localization may refer to local content development as well, or value chain development. So it is one of the benefits that African countries are going to get out of the AFCFTA by ensuring that every country develop product and value chain or services that are comparative advantage to them, so that at the end of the day, you can also recollect that using the model of regional value chain or global value chain, no particular country can produce everything. So we need each other. I need to get something from you to produce what I want. You need something from me to produce what you want. So in that manner, using the rules of origin, we can say that if I'm in Nigeria and I'm producing something and I get the material from Ghana or I get the material from Burundi, they are all African goods, because the origin of those processes or production processes are within Africa. So we need to encourage local or value chain development. We need to encourage local content, even in imputing what we do. I mean, if you were in the hall a few minutes ago, the Nigerian minister was very particular about the textile sector. So we need to develop those kind of value chains in our various countries, so that at the end of the day we can reduce importation of certain products, and then boost the economy of our country, so that at the end of the day there should be no loser. We can all gain in different parts of our production processes.
Perfect. Thank you so much for talking to us, and of course representing there the Nigeria Private Sector Council. For Newzroom Afrika, I'm Ntokozo Khumalo in Durban.